Hey, I'm Shadow, host of Anything But the Music. This is where I talk to musicians, whether they're local, regional, national, about something other than music. So, know what is your favorite song to perform? Know what inspired you to write these lyrics? And definitely know what is your creative process like? So, musicians have passions outside of music. Those two things coexist 100%. But I want to dive into those things. I want to hear about anything but the music. So, with me today is Joey Waltzer. Is that how you pronounce your last name? Waltzer?
Yeah, you actually got a lot of people put a Z in there, so
Oh,
congratulations. Appreciate it.
AKA Joey Chicago. I'm pretty sure people can automatically assume how you got that last name.
For sure.
You probably know him from the bands Pop Evil, Devour the Day, Egypt Central. But what you didn't know is that he's got a side hustle and he makes custom kicks. Now, I said kicks because I wanted to sound super cool, but are we still calling them kicks? What are we calling them now?
Oh, that's okay. I think as the nature of the sneaker world, everybody's welcome, and that's good. You're good with
Okay.
kicks. Yeah.
So, with the story that I was telling you that I wanted to tell you, and I wanted to wait until we were recording, was that actually you were the one who inspired me to start this podcast.
Really? I did not know that. That's
Yes, because
incredible.
I was looking at
That's
your Facebook page and
that's
you were
awesome.
posting pictures of these shoes, and I'm like, those are freaking amazing. And I was like,
Thank you.
what if I could just talk to him about his shoes and not the bands he's in? Like, and then I was like, what if I could talk to other artists about what they do outside of music? And I thought, all right, so I've been toying around with this podcast for about a year. And finally, 2024, I decided to pull the trigger, and so far, so good. So, yeah, Joey, you were my inspiration.
That seriously means the world to me. It makes my day. I'll probably be cheesing for the rest of the podcast now. Uh, that means a lot.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
it really does.
So we've got some of these shoes that you've custom made that we
Yeah,
can show people. And I would say let's just go through the slides and maybe see, like, you can tell us a little bit about each pair, and then I got some questions afterwards that I'll
for
ask.
sure.
But otherwise, this is just totally like
Yeah,
off the
let her
fly.
rip.
Let's have fun with it. So here we go. And hopefully I put them all in the because you sent me so many pictures. hopefully
Yeah,
I hopefully I
I
put them together properly.
oh yeah, no, they look great. This is the latest pair that I just finished actually. It's the second of um these skull designs that I've done on the Vans, which I started with Nikes and I felt like I was going to be a purist. And then I kind of realized that like there's a big chunk of my life where I'm also wearing Vans. I'm trying to be a skateboarder. It was a big part of my life. I'm like, I didn't want to shun out that possibility. And then I actually got quite a few orders for the Vans as well. And
Really?
so yeah, these are really fun. One of the things that I really love about the Vans is I do these custom leather tags on them, and even the grommet, the pin themselves, I've clipped on myself, and each tag is then individually custom painted with a toothpick, actually.
With a
Um,
toothpick?
Yes. So early on, when I started to do the custom shoes, and I was really getting interested after kind of the first initial, I guess, thrust of interest, and people started to ask about it, I really went on a deep dive of education on how to do it right. One of the things that I felt like if I was going to do custom shoes, one, I didn't want the paint to come off if people tried
Yeah.
to wear them, and I wanted to understand like how it was actually possible to create a pair of these custom painted shoes and them be wearable and then you can like actually have them be a part of your collection. And in looking for that, I found this guy Dylan De Jesus, which I think is how you pronounce his name. Hope so. But just in the world of custom shoes, he's just kind of this YouTube tutorial guru. Just really awesome. And even when I went to explore his stuff, he was really responsive to me when I would DM him and stuff, and he would like answer questions. It was just really cool that the community was so inviting to a total newbie in it. And so, but in his YouTube tutorials, he always has this hashtag toothpick gang. and I wanted to be a part of the toothpick gang, which essentially means you're doing like such fine detail that the only way to get to it is to have something like a little bit firmer than a brush. And so that became part of something and part of like this badge of honor. I wanted to be part of the hashtag toothpick gang, and like maybe have him notice that I'm like, paying homage to his styles. But yeah, all of the custom skulls and stuff that are done on the shoe are done painstakingly with a toothpick, one little stroke
Okay.
at a time.
I gotta ask then, like, how long would something like this take?
They're about 25 to 30 hours, and even
Okay.
when I'm like the shoes sell for around $3,000, and the reason why, the easiest way that I found to explain to people is that it's a lot like a tattoo, where you would come in, you'd do the black work, then you'd have to let it heal, you'd come back, you'd do your color work, and then you'd have to come in, maybe even do touch-ups. Like the amount of art that's going in, especially the detail, you're looking at about 25 to 30 hours that I put into the shoes. So with my schedule and the three bands, I mean, I'm going to be lucky to get 12 pair done this year, one a month. And
Right.
so I think the amount of time that goes into it, I just kind of priced it like a tattoo artist would. You know what I mean? And so yeah, there are quite a few hours. I feel like these are um, I'm trying to do my best to create a pair of shoes that are truly one of a kind. That for a fact this will be the only pair of shoes like this on the
Right.
planet. Yeah.
So I know this is anything but the music, but I'm just kind of curious. Do you, when you're out on the road, do you take this stuff with you, or is this something that you have to be home to do?
Oh man, I honestly, long story short, I bought all this stuff for the road. I bought like a whole toolkit, like thing. I paid $400 to ship it to Michigan so I'd be ready for Pop Evil tour. And I brought the shoes out. Like I brought some stuff out there, and I got zero done. I got zero work done.
Okay.
So I thought I was gonna be like a total badass, and I was gonna be able to do these shoes out on the road. But the schedule of touring, and then just the nature of touring, where like have no space to yourself ever,
Yeah.
honestly. Uh, and that's just the nature of touring. It's not a complaint. I love it, to be honest. But um, it just wasn't possible to be able to have the integrity of the artwork I wanted for the customer, especially at the price point.
Yeah.
uh, I really wanted to be able to do that, and to be able to like video the process and have that be a part. There's creative fun in doing the content for it too. I've actually had this blast of like doing like different transitions where I take a blank shoe and I like flip it over and then it turns into the shoe. I think I have fun doing that. It's probably the closest I get to being a TikTok star is flipping my flipping my shoes in my living room. But yeah, so I can't do it on the road. That has slowed the process, but it hasn't slowed my passion for it in any way. And I'm still going to be probably have the busiest year for my shoes going forward in 2024, which is really exciting. So,
Wow.
yeah, for sure.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
So who did this pair go to? Anyone?
I don't know if they'd want to be mentioned, but this was just a Pop Evil fan that really loved the first pair that I had done of the Vans, and really wanted their own version, and so that's who that went to.
All right.
That was a
I,
Pop Evil fan for
I
sure.
won't I won't ask that question too many times.
No,
These ones I love, super colorful. I really like the way you made the Nike swoop into an act like its own little thing on these shoes.
yeah, these are a bit of a pride and joy. These were a Pop Evil contest, and they went to a winner. I did like the full design of the shoe on the iPad first, and so there was like a digital rendition of it that everyone who was going to enter the contest was able to see. But then we got the contest winner's shoe size, and I made this custom pair. So that
Okay.
was a fun part of that. It was also paired with Heart Support, which is an incredible nonprofit that raises awareness within the metal and active rock community for mental health and help for that. So that was a really cool part of that as well. I really love Heart Sport and those people over there. But the cool thing about this shoe is the Nike swoosh that comes off the base, or I mean, off the shoe like that is made of bass strings. And so it was quite the process to dissect the string and lay it in with leather glue on top of a riveted Nike sign and then have that attached, but then bent in such a way that you can put that shoe on and wear it, and it's not like the strings are going to pop off. But
Right.
that entire Nike sign is made of actual bass strings, and I think as a bass player, it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Love it.
Yeah,
Yes. Super
trying to be
creative.
unique, trying to stand out. These are the first shoes one of the first I started added the custom logo base pick tag too that you can see hanging off the that
Yeah,
right shoe.
I saw that, I saw that, I
Yeah,
really like that, that's very cool. So it says JCC. Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Joey
because
Chicago Customs.
customs,
Yeah.
that's what I was like, "What's the other C for?" And then I was like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot." So, also another one of my favorites, just
Yeah.
because they're so girly and pink, and they also look like they would fit me.
Oh, I'm sure they would. And if you need a pair, join the list. I'm all about it. This is one of my favorite pairs. It was the first like higher top that I tried too, which gave me a lot more canvas space, which is really, really cool. But this was for a woman, Donna, who I know doesn't have a problem with me sharing her story. She is an incredible lady. She was going through a horrible divorce, and really for the first time wanted to do something for herself, get something nice for herself, and this just felt really unique and really special to her. And so on one side of the shoe, I did this woman who's coming apart as to metaphor for her divorce, but then as you see across the front of that right or that left shoe, it starts to
Mhm.
become these cherry blossoms, a rebirth for her into a new life, a new opportunity. She's lost like 60 plus pounds over the course of the last year, just a total transformation for her life. And for me, it was just really, really special. On my Instagram, I have a video of me revealing the shoes to Donna after a show, rolling the custom case out to her, and getting you get to see her face, and I just think it was a really special thing for me. Probably, um, really internally, the coolest thing that's happened in doing the shoes the whole time was giving her these, just because it went well beyond the artwork. It was like, she's gonna walk into a new life in these. And so I just thought that was so cool to be
Yeah.
wearing these custom shoes. But I also, on the art side of it, really love that I was able to get this awesome like rose red and then do the entire inside of the shoe, all the fabric inside, which stays soft actually, because you use this particular kind of thinner. And that rose red inside is just really, really cool. You put some black shoes under that, or black socks, and you're ready to go.
So
So
that was gonna be, like, one of my questions was, and you had touched on it earlier when we were looking at the first pair, it's like, how do you like, do you have to use some special paint to keep these on the shoe? Because people obviously will, I don't know, maybe some people just wanna display them, but I would feel like I'd wanna wear 'em.
for
How
sure.
do you keep that safe from all the elements?
That was a huge part of the education process, because I at first, I mean, the first pair I did for Chris Daughtry, I just used a Sharpie, which was cool, but I mean, and then I covered it, but there's nothing long term about that. If you were to
Right.
wear them, they probably would get messed up. But so in doing my research and doing my education, you come to find that there is a very particular company, and Angelus Direct, that is like the custom paint company. There's a certain kind of chemical element to that gives it a flexibility when it dries, and only because of that can I use that particular paint. And so, I mean, over the course of the last 2 years, I'm sure I've become a preferred customer. I have spent so much money
So
on paint, but beautiful colors, and yeah, so you have to use that, and then there's actually an entire process. You have to sand down the shoe to remove the old paint, use a chemical to kind of like remove that white that comes off, because they all start as a blank white shoe.
yeah.
Um, and then you apply the paint, and then there's a coating, there's a finish, all of that makes the process pretty specific, actually, to be
Huh.
able to make them wearable.
So that means Daughtry got the first kind of test pair, so to speak,
He
where
did. Well, and you and I were talking about
his
Lee,
are
the
display
singer.
only.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's finding out that the minute he listens to this, maybe, but he's probably got him somewhere. It all started from that tour, though. Lee, the singer of Pop Evil, who, as you know, is like an avid shoe collector. I don't know
Yes.
anybody. Him and maybe Zach Myers are the two. They compete for having the most shoes, but Lee has an insane amount of shoes. Adidas too, like old Yeezys and all. Like he has a great collection. But at the end of that Chris Daughtry tour with Pop Evil, he got a pair of shoes. He was at the mall and he came back and he got some Air Force Ones. They were blank, and he's like, "Dude, I just think it'd be so cool if you drew on these for Chris as a thank you for the tour." And I just thought that was such a sick idea. Like, of course, let's do that. Got a little bit obsessive and kind of spent like the next 24 hours just like at the bus table, like whittling away and drawing on these things. But in the end, it turned out pretty cool, and he really, really liked them. Daughtry is also a sneakerhead, and has quite a few pairs. And so, yeah. And then when I posted that, the picture of the shoes, that's when people started asking me, and his audience, is massive, Chris's. So a
Yeah.
lot of the first orders were people coming in were like, "Can I get a pair of shoes like Chris Daughtry's?" I was like, "Well, yes, but let me figure out how to do that correctly so I'm not
Right.
sending you shoes that aren't that cool." So yeah, that's kind of how that started, which is just it was a cool story to
And
have.
I'm pretty sure that was probably the picture I saw because, it was all over social media. Unfortunately, weren't able to post the pictures, or, show the pictures on here of those shoes because they were in that weird iPhone HEIC format, and I don't know where the
Yeah,
heck HEIC came from, but it, like, wouldn't I didn't have the plugin on my computer, and I was like, "Well, damn it." It's like, I can't show these because I figured we'd talk about it, but I was like,
it
"Oh."
was all a plot to make people go to my Instagram to
Yeah,
see it.
there we
That's
go.
that's all it is.
There we go.
Not on you. That's my
I like
fault.
these ones too. I mean, let's be honest, I like basically all the work you do because 'cause they're all so cool and unique. Like, so what do you do? Do you just like ask people, you're like, what are you into? And that's kind of how you get the inspiration to draw these things up, or do you just is
Yeah.
it free will?
Um,
Free
I
will of
I
the artist?
Some people do want that. They just ask for me to kind of do what I want to do, and I love having those kind of projects. But I also really enjoy the challenge of having something that someone, even if they feel like there's an inspiration or just a general direction they want to head, it's fun for me to kind of narrow in on that as well. Otherwise, I'll probably just draw skulls because I like doing that so much. So I tend to draw skulls a lot. But I think the as people make the orders, I actually put together like a questionnaire for them, and so
Oh,
when you put your deposit down, um, I'll send you the questionnaire, and then I'm super organized at this point in my life, so I've got spreadsheets with everybody's payment schedules and all of the inspiration that they want for their shoes, their sizing, all that stuff, really well organized, and have been able to kind of keep track of everything. Probably because I approached it like that in the beginning and was organized
yeah.
with it. So once they send me their inspiration sheet, I can kind of get a rough idea. Everything that I do, I have these like high res pictures of every angle of an Air Force One and a Vans uh, pair skate shoe that I've taken, and then those are on my iPad, and I'll go in like this is the first pair that I ever did, which was extremely nerve wracking.
This pair
For
right here?
Yes, because I was also kind of learning what I was doing. This was a an engagement gift for a gymnastics coach from Canada,
I was
and
gonna
that
ask, I was
and
like, it
so I
has
was
something to do with Canada because of the leaf on there.
so her love of um, Canada and gymnastics were a big part of that. The tape that wraps around the Nike sign and the front of the shoe that is this gymnast tape. Obviously, she's got her Canadian maple leaves, which were one of the hardest parts of that shoe,
Really?
actually, because I was just learning stencils. I was trying to put that stencil underneath the Nike sign, and the swoosh, and I must have like corrected that a gajillion times. But I think this skull was the first time that I was really like, as I was creating, that I was realizing what was possible with this, and that I really loved doing it. The unique element to this whole customs job, I guess, or side hustle, is that I've never actually had a medium where I'm creating everything digitally and then I'm bringing it to life physically. And,
Mhm.
it's almost like writing a song and then getting to play it live. In that way, I know that's kind of a rough sketch on the metaphor, but I think just that the idea that it's like in this digital world and then it's like I breathe life into it by painting it onto the shoes. The transition process from getting my drawings from my iPad onto the shoe has a whole kind of transfer process where I have to print it backwards, trace it again, draw it a second time, and then get it on the shoe, push it onto the shoe with a little small tool, and then take that and redraw it for the third time as I start to paint it. So each skull or drawing on there has been drawn 3 to 4 times before it's in its final uh,
Were
place.
these shoes originally whites, or did
Yeah.
they start okay, so they were. Do you always start with white shoes, or can you ever use, like, can you do stuff on a pair of, like, Air Force Ones that are black?
Oh, I could definitely start on black pair. I think it would change maybe what paints and colors I use. I would probably stick to whites
Yeah.
and stuff like that. A lot of it has to do with uh, basic painting stuff, like the color that you're going after. Having that white foundation gives me the ability to mix 2 or 3 paints and create the colors that I want. Something like that bright orange that you're seeing now. This was another Pop Evil heart support pair that I did
Okay.
for a contest winner, based off the Paranoid single release. And that's the same kind of thing. I really do love taking the all white and then making the insides black anyway, but
Yeah.
I'm painting the insides of those shoes white as well. And then you see I have another swoosh made out of bass strings for that, is which was really cool because I special ordered like a wrapped bass string that I
Mhm.
probably never play with, but it looks cool on the shoe. Got like this like crazy orange, and then had to mix that with the paint to try to be able to create the same color. So that challenge was really cool and fun for me, and so I felt like those came out really well. This is the second pair I ever did, actually.
Really?
So I'm still just kind of learning, even looking at these. I'm looking back and going, man, I really have picked up quite a few more tricks since these.
I do love how you have incorporated it into, like, you said like 2 pair thus far have been for contests to raise money for charity. I mean, that's really cool.
Thank you.
So,
I think I have some stuff going on with like NFL Cleats for a Cause and some other things where I am finding that there's such a great social reach in the sneaker world on its own, but it's such a fun way of creating awareness. I've got Stax Museum out of Memphis. That we're going to do a part of the raffle is going to be one of my pairs of shoes or possibly like a custom lesson, and any of these opportunities where I have a chance to give back, I just jump at the chance. The people that you meet, the opportunities that come from that, the stories that change who you are, like internally, that come from these opportunities. I love doing that stuff.
well, I have a pair of black Nike Air Force Ones sitting in a box right now, ready to go back to Nike because my 12-year-old son doesn't suddenly they're not cool enough for him. So it's
Oh,
we're exchanging them for some Jordans.
ooh, that's a hard call. What pair of Jordans?
I think they're the Air Jordan 3s.
Yeah, that's a quality pair of shoes right
Yeah,
there.
you see,
And
you can see my kid is already starting a very expensive
yeah,
hobby.
This is a very expensive hobby. My addiction to the Nike drops is a real thing.
Ah,
I I have to restrain myself. I was at a family reunion and wasn't able to win these lost and found, these like Chicago Jordan ones that dropped. And I had a real moment where I had to decide, hey, you're at a family reunion. Don't lose your temper that you just lost those
right.
shoes.
So so
So there's been some checks.
kind of like the NFL draft, do you get together with all your shoe friends and just wait for the drop?
No, it's a very personal thing. It's
Oh,
actually internally, I think it's me against the rest of the world in those moments. It's like you just want to get that got 'em sticker that comes across your phone, and they have this like great view, side view of the shoes, and it shows you what you just won, and you're like, I did not miss out. It's a good
so
day.
I'm curious that what is one of these drops? Are they like a very limited edition? Like you say you kind of have to like win them. I'm sure it's a bidding war of some sort. Is that
Well,
like
it
a very exclusive thing?
No, no, it's actually really the way that a lot of these shoe companies and fashion companies have changed over the last few years. I would say the last 10 or so, to where there's a limited amount of a certain product created, and they will like have redrops like years later or something, but it's a specific pair from a certain time. Let's say it's an 87 Jordan, and they're reissuing. They're only going to make so many. They'll make them available at a certain price, like their actual price point of $200 or something. And so you get these shoes one for $200 instead of 1,000, which it'll be like 2 days later. And so, for us financially savvy parent types, we love winning the shoes at that price point,
Yes.
as opposed to having to go on like the Goat app or StockX or something, and then you are bidding for it. So you get to win the value, which the way I was raised is a double win. So it's good.
That's
But
funny.
that
This is the second time I've heard of the goat app.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, my 12-year-old kid once again sends me something, and I was like looking for it on the interwebs, and I don't know much about shoes. I'm a mom. I'm like, well, whatever.
I find that I have a lot more in common with teenagers sometimes. So maybe I'm just a big kid. I don't know. Probably what it
Yeah.
is. I haven't grown up.
I'd like to say the same about myself, but yeah, maybe we'll see. All right. I think this the last pair? I think this was the
I think
last. Or
yeah,
did we come back? Did we come back around full circle?
this was this no, this is another pair of Vans that were similar, that the original picture that you showed was based off of.
Okay.
Um, yeah, one of the first pairs. We kind of went back in time, which was cool. I was getting to watch them like as they go, and then yeah, I've got a lot of pairs this year. I've got a donut pair I'm doing, like a Ghost Rider pair I'm doing, some Nike stuff for NFL. I mean, just a lot of cool opportunities. Again, Stacks Museum, some nonprofit stuff. So I'm on this adventure, and I don't, know where it's going to take me, but I am definitely still going to keep doing these. I really have a blast.
Well, definitely so far so good. How many orders would you say that you're like in the middle of right now?
I have 12, 13 orders that created this waiting list that I'm on. I'm probably booked out until the end summertime right now.
Oh, wow.
And so anybody who's like looking for a commission, they are able to enter into the waiting list, and then a lot, again, like a tattoo artist, I'll allow people to do a payment program where they can kind of pay over the amount of time, because it's going to take a while. But then once I start, about 4 to 6 weeks, I try to be able to have a pair each month, depending on if one of the three bands needs to tour or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Uh, so we'll see. But I'm really having a great time, and I really have a fun time talking about it too. I appreciate you bringing me on. It's the
Yes.
kind of the first time I've been able to like talk about some of the nerdy details of doing custom shoes.
I love it. I think it's super cool. If anybody wanted to get on said waiting lists, do they just go to your Facebook page, or you got
Yeah, Facebook or Instagram or any of my personal stuff. I'm very aware of my socials. You can just DM me or you can email joeychicagocustoms@gmail.com. Send your inquiry there. And if you give me a couple days, I'll get right back to you. But
cool.
yeah,
What's your Instagram? Because I want to go. I want to go check out that video of you giving those shoes to Donna.
oh, that's at Joey Chicago Customs.
Okay,
And
perfect.
you can go to at Joey Chicago Walser and get linked in there as well. If one comes up quicker. But if you put Joey Chicago in there, I'll show up.
We'll find you.
Yeah.
You are searchable on the interwebs.
Oh yeah. I mean, if people can figure out who Sleep Token is and go to their house, you can find Joey Chicago. I promise.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being on Anything But the Music. I enjoyed talking with you about non-musical things.
Me too. I love this, and I love you. So I appreciate you
Thank
having me.
you. Thank you. All right.